Have you ever felt lonely in a crowd? Have you ever laughed, but felt terribly empty inside? If you are, I want to tell you something that no one has ever dared to say: you don't need anyone to feel complete. We are born and raised in a world that teaches us that love comes from outside. Someone who loves us. A friend who is always there. A supportive family. But few people teach us that the greatest, strongest, and most lasting love comes from within. Have you ever run after someone to be recognized? Have you ever changed the way you dress, the way you talk, or even your dreams, just to avoid being left behind? It's exhausting, isn't it? And strangely enough, the more you try to please others, the more you feel like you're losing yourself. And then one day you realize, all those people who said forever have left. Those who once beat their chests and said I'll be there are now just memories. Promises, presents, care, all are more fragile than you think. But strangely, it's in those moments of loss that you begin to hear your own voice clearly. You begin to learn how to pick yourself up after each fall. You learn to comfort yourself when night falls, no one is by your side. You begin to understand that being alone is not loneliness, but strength. A person who knows how to hug himself in the storm is someone who cannot be defeated by anything. You may have thought, I need someone to feel happy. But then you will be surprised to realize, you are the only one who never abandons you. No one understands you like you do. No one has been with you from birth to death, except you. From that moment, you will begin to make peace with yourself. You will look in the mirror and not see a flaw, but someone who was too strong to survive until today. You will be grateful to yourself for not giving up, even though there were 100 reasons to do so. And then you will no longer need compliments to feel worthy. No longer need attention to feel alive. Because the greatest acceptance you will ever seek turns out to come from within. Loving yourself is not easy. But it is the most rewarding journey. And when you truly know how to stand on your own, you will never fear losing anyone else again. Because you have had enough for a long time. Once you need yourself, less than you ever needed anyone else, you become free. There's a strange truth about fear that few people realize. Fear doesn't grow because the problem is hard. Fear grows because you sit still. Think about the last time you put something off: an important phone call, a public speech, or simply starting over. You sit down, think about it, imagine all the scenarios: failure, ridicule, not good enough, not smart enough. And the more you think about it, the smaller you feel. But the strange thing is, when you stand up, take the first step, the fear begins to melt away. It doesn't disappear all at once, but it doesn't hold you as tightly as before. And you wonder, why did I think it was so big? Because when you sit still, you don't see the problem, you see its shadow. That shadow is bigger than the real thing, more distorted than reality, and much scarier. You imagine failure so much that you don't even dare to try. Do you know what separates courageous people from cowardly people? It's not fear. It's how they act despite their fear. Courageous people aren't people whose hands don't shake, whose hearts don't race, who don't hesitate. They have all of those things. But they act anyway. They know, if they stand still, their own thoughts will eat them away. We don't conquer fear by thinking less. We conquer fear by doing more. Have you ever put off something because you're afraid? Writing a resignation letter? Sending a text message of apology? Saying I love you? Starting a new journey? You think you're not ready. But the truth is, you'll never be ready. And you don't have to be ready to start. You just have to start and you'll eventually become ready. Action doesn't eliminate fear all at once. But it does make you stronger. Little by little. Every time you do something you're afraid of, you unlock a layer of power within yourself that you didn't know you had. And then one day, you'll look back at the things that used to keep you up at night, and you'll laugh. If only I'd gotten up a little earlier. Fear doesn't stop you from taking action, procrastination feeds fear. You've waited long enough. Get up. Do that thing. Make that call. Send that email. Say that word. Take that first step. Because every victory in life begins with a small action, the one you thought you didn't have the courage to do. There is a bitter paradox in life. The more people you ask, the more lost you become. It sounds wrong, because since childhood we have been taught. Ask an adult. You must consult before doing anything. Don't make decisions on your own, it will be wrong. And so we grow up like a machine that specializes in asking for permission, asking for advice, asking for approval. But in the end, we can't ask for ourselves. You are at a crossroads. You are hesitant. You are worried. And you start asking, do you think I should quit my job? Do you think I should forgive him? Should I love him? You get 10 different answers. Each person says something different. Some say you should take a risk. Some say don't be foolish. Some say live for yourself. Some remind you to live responsibly. Finally, you sit down. And don't go anywhere. You think you're looking for answers. But you're really just looking for an escape from responsibility. You don't want to decide, because you're afraid of being wrong. So you give the decision to someone else. And hope that, if it's wrong, at least it's not your fault. But there's one thing you haven't thought about. No one else has lived your life. They don't know how many sleepless nights you've had. They don't see your shaking hands when you wake up in the morning. They don't hear your recurring dreams. They don't have to live with that decision. You do. The truth is, the only person who has the power to decide what path you take is the person who has seen everything you've been through, and that person is you. You can listen to opinions. You can consult. But if you ignore your inner voice to please the voices of others, you will live a life that is never yours. It is not wrong to listen to others. But too many opinions will clutter your heart. And sometimes the best decision is the bravest decision, the one you dare to make yourself. To be on the right path, stop asking and start listening. Listen to yourself. Believe in yourself. Follow yourself. Don't live as a draft of someone else's script. Write the first chapter with your own hand. Even if your hand is shaky, your lines are scribbled. As long as it is real, as long as it is you. There is something that seems harmless but silently kills many lives. Looking back. We look back at the mistakes we made. The words we should not have said. The opportunities we missed. The people who left. The wounds that have not healed completely. We look back, as if the past can be changed with regretful eyes. But have you ever noticed? No one can move forward if they keep looking back. Imagine you are driving on a winding road. You can't keep your eyes on the rearview mirror forever, right? Just a few seconds of not paying attention to what's ahead can cause you to lose control, skid, crash somewhere, or crash straight into the fate you're avoiding. Life is the same. The past is just a small mirror to learn from, not the main screen to live. You are no longer the person you were last year. No longer the weak person of last month. No longer the person who made the wrong choices, loved the wrong people, believed the wrong things. You are different. But if you keep looking back, you will never see yourself today. People say, I want to go back to the happy days. I wish I hadn't met that person. If only I had chosen differently. But are you sure that you would do better if you went back? Are you sure that you won't fall again? Sometimes, the best thing that has ever happened to you is that you can't go back. Imagine, if you hadn't been hurt that day, you wouldn't be as strong as you are now. If that person hadn't left that day, you wouldn't have learned to stand alone. If you hadn't lost everything that day, would you have changed? Everything that has ever hurt you has silently taught you how to stand up. Everything that has ever brought you down is now the foundation for you to rise. It is not a series of failures. It is a journey to becoming who you are, steady, alert, proud. So the next time your mind tries to pull you back to where you were, close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And say to yourself, I have come too far to turn back. I don't live there anymore. I am not that person anymore. Don't look back. You are not going there. Look ahead, where the sun is rising. Look ahead, where new opportunities await. Look ahead, where the person you were meant to be is calling you every step of the way. As long as you keep moving, nothing in the past can hold you back. How many times have you sat alone and wished, if only that had never happened? If only they had never hurt me. If only I had never had to endure that. But what if I told you that the very things you wish you could erase are the very things that make you strong today? It may sound paradoxical, even unfair. But let me tell you a secret that the strongest people know. You don't learn strength on sunny days. You forge it in storms. The pain others have caused you, their words, their actions, their betrayals, their indifference, has brought you down. But you survived. And not just survived. You grew. You learned to forgive without needing anyone to apologize. You learned to get up without needing anyone to help you up. You learned to smile without needing anyone to understand the pain that followed. If they hadn't left you that day, you wouldn't have learned to live alone. If they hadn't hurt you that day, you wouldn't have learned to protect yourself. If they hadn't betrayed you that day, you wouldn't have learned to trust yourself. They thought they destroyed you. But in fact, they helped you to be reborn. And now, if they come back with an apology, with the desire to take back what they did, what will you do? Forgive? Maybe. Forget? Maybe. But take back the wound? No. Because if they take back the wound, you will lose your strength. You are no longer the innocent, vulnerable person you were before. You are a stronger, smarter, deeper version because of what you have hurt. Like your body. When it is wounded, it heals itself. The scar doesn't disappear, but the skin there gets thicker. It doesn't weaken, it remembers. Neither do you. You don't need to blame them anymore. They have played their part in your journey to maturity. And you should be grateful, because not everyone has the precious gift that comes from pain. Strength. So don't pray that they have never hurt you. Don't pray that the past can be erased. Don't pray that you have never fallen. Be grateful that you have stood up. And today, you don't need them to correct you, because you have rewritten your own story. If they take back the pain, you will also lose the strength that pain has left. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be brave enough not to hide your scars, because scars are proof of your victory. If you have been hurt, you can still love. If you have ever fallen, but still choose to stand up, then you are much, much stronger than many people think. Have you ever felt like you did everything right, but the result was pain, disappointment, loss? You work hard. You are kind. You are patient. And then what happens? Everything seems to fall apart just as you are about to reach your dream. You are not wrong. Actually, that is a sign. When things start to get harder than ever, when doors are closing, when people you trust leave, when you feel like the whole world is against you. Stop for a moment. Take a deep breath. And remember this. Life always tests you before it rewards you. Like a field before harvest, it must go through drought. Like a seed before it can sprout, it must be buried deep in the dark ground. Like the darkest night, it always comes just before dawn. Life is not punishing you. It is testing you. It wants to know. Are you strong enough to not give up when no one is cheering you on? Are you strong enough to believe in yourself when everyone doubts you? Do you have the passion to keep going when your heart is bleeding? Because what you are praying for, what you are waiting for, what you are striving for, is not a cheap gift. It is the reward for those who dare to keep going when everyone else has given up. It is the reward for those who do not abandon themselves when everyone else has turned their backs. Life needs to know. Do you just want it? Or are you willing to pay the price to deserve it? Challenges come not to defeat you, but to eliminate the weak versions of you. The versions that give up easily. The versions that live to please others. Versions always need to be secure, safe, and certain. Life is not unfair. It is just putting you through fire to see if you are gold or not. If you are in the middle of a storm, if you are struggling with work, disappointed with relationships, feel like all your efforts are going up in smoke, don't give up. Because that could be the moment when life is standing right behind you, preparing to give you the greatest gift you will ever receive. But that gift will only be handed to you when you pass the final test. Life will not bless you when you find it easy. It will bless after you prove that you are ready. And you are ready. Keep going. Someone hurt you. Someone betrayed you. Someone left without saying goodbye. An event happened like a punch in the face that left you breathless. You try to understand why. You look back at every word, every action, every look. You ask yourself, if only I hadn't said that. If only I had realized it sooner. And you start building a prison for yourself made of bricks called if-onlys. But there is a truth that you need to face, no matter how hard it is to accept. The more you focus on the wound, the more it bleeds. The more you stare at the pain, the more you see everything in life through a dark lens. You start to doubt good people. You turn down new opportunities. You isolate yourself and think it's protecting yourself. But the truth is, you're not protecting yourself. You're locking yourself away. You're not living. You're hiding. Hiding from the hurt is also hiding from the opportunity to heal. Pain is not the enemy. It's a signal. It's not there to hurt you. It's there to make you stronger. A strange thing happens when you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" Suddenly, the pain stops being something to hate. It becomes a teacher. A strict teacher, but a fair one. You realize that it was the betrayal that taught you to trust your intuition. It was the abandonment that taught you to stand on your own 2 feet. It was the failure that forced you to look back at the path that was truly right for you. And then you're not the same person anymore. Not because time has passed, but because you chose to see life through the eyes of a learner, not a victim. You transformed the pain into power. You replaced the question, "Why me?" with, "What am I going to do about it?" And in that moment, you stopped suffering. You began to grow. Don't let one dark chapter define your entire book. You weren't meant to be hurt forever. You were meant to overcome it, learn from it, and grow from it. Focus on the lesson, not the wound. That's how you move forward without the burden. That's how you turn the pain into a gift of awakening. Have you ever asked yourself, "Why haven't I reached the life I dreamed of?" You see other people succeeding, shining, happy, and you think, "They're luckier than me. They have talent. They have the means." Or, you just sigh and keep procrastinating. You know it. The thing you should do. The project you've been thinking about for 3 months but haven't started yet. The course you bought but never finished. The goal you wrote in your diary at the beginning of the year, now covered in dust. You know, very clearly, that's what you need to do to change your life. But you keep avoiding it. Because it's hard. Because it's new. Because it requires you to face your laziness, your fear of failure, the shame of not being perfect from the start. But here's the hard truth and the wake-up call. You'll never find miracles if you avoid the path to them. You're looking for miracles. You're waiting for a turning point. You're waiting for a sign from the universe. And the universe has already given you a sign, the one you've been avoiding. You want financial freedom? Start managing your money. You want to write a book? Sit down and type your first words, however awkwardly. You want good health? Drop that cookie and go for a 15-minute walk today. The miracle isn't in the future. It's in the little things you're saying no to today. The reason your life feels cramped, repetitive, and uninspired. It's not because you lack opportunity, but because you have built an invisible barrier to the good, a barrier called procrastination and avoidance. You think you are waiting for the right moment. In fact, the right moment will come when you start. Not before. Sometimes the thing you avoid is the only door that leads you out of the current boredom. The work you fear the most is where you will find confidence. The most difficult work is where you will discover your mettle. The challenge you always thought wasn't for you is the lever for you to overcome yourself. There is no path to freedom without going through discipline. No miracle exists if you don't take action. And one day, when you do exactly what you were most afraid of, you will laugh not because it was easy, but because you realize the miracle is not far away. It's right there in you. You just haven't started digging. Life doesn't ask if you're tired. It doesn't ask permission to throw you a bad day, bad news, a betrayal, or a setback. It all comes unexpectedly, and it's brutally fair. No one is exempt. But then, among the myriad of things you can't control, there's only one thing you can choose. How will you react? You can be a negative person, always seeing problems, finding reasons to blame life, blaming others, doubting every good thing, and carrying a hardened heart with you wherever you go. Or you can be a positive person, not because everything goes smoothly, but because you choose to see the light in the darkness, learn something from every wound, and keep believing despite disappointment. Two people. Two choices. Two ways of living. Only one of them will get you to the other side of the dream. Here's the truth. Negative people think they're realistic. They'll say, "I'm not pessimistic, I just see things as they are." But they give up too soon. They don't start, because they believe they'll fail. They don't love deeply, because they think everyone will leave. They don't dare to dream, because they're used to disappointment. What they call protecting themselves is really just silent surrender. Positive people are different. They don't live in illusions. They know life can be painful, can be unfair. But they still choose to get up. They still start over. They still hold someone's hand, still believe in kindness, still leave room in their hearts for good things to happen. Not because they're naive, but because they're brave. You see, positive people don't have it easier. They have a heart that chooses what keeps them going. And that is a big enough difference to propel them into a future you will wish you had believed in sooner. When you choose positivity, you don't pretend everything is okay. You choose to look in the direction that makes you want to keep going. You choose to be the one who creates the light, instead of sitting in the dark and blaming the darkness. Remember, negativity doesn't make you wiser. It just keeps you stuck. Positivity is what keeps you going, climbing higher and reaching places that the doubters will never see. So the next time life knocks you down, ask yourself, am I responding to the pain with a positive mind, or am I succumbing to it with a cynical mind? That answer will determine who you become and where you go. We live in a strange time where every action that hasn't happened is announced before it happens. Just think of a new idea and people rush to post it online. I'm starting a brand. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to write a book, learn a language, change my life. Soon. 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 Never. Because there's something very few people realize. When you talk too much about your next step, you're sapping your motivation to actually do it. Our brains are strange. When you talk too much about what you're going to do, you give yourself the feeling of already doing it. You get applause, praise, recognition without actually doing anything. And so you relax. You slow down. You lose your fire. Learn to be quiet. Silence is not weakness. Silence is wisdom. Predators never roar before they pounce. True climbers don't livestream every step. Empire builders know that real success comes not from words, but from results. Walk quietly. Act as if no one is watching. Then one day, when you emerge with your work in hand, the world will have no idea how you did it because they never saw you brag. Don't let early recognition rob you of great accomplishments. Don't let the spotlight make you forget to practice in the dark. Some dreams only bloom when they're nurtured in silence. Some plans only take shape when they're protected from prying eyes, doubt, and prejudice. A secret move can take you to places where fanfare never took you. And you know what? Successful people never announce their goals. They just achieve them. People who truly change do so without warning. They let their actions speak for themselves. They let their results speak for themselves. Let time speak for themselves. Let people see the change in you. When you say nothing, everything about you is different. So, from today, don't say I'll start. Start silently. Don't say I'll prove. Let your results speak for you. And when someone asks, "Why haven't I heard you say this before?" just smile and say, "I'm busy working on it." Life doesn't need you to shout every step, but it needs you to walk truly, firmly, and persistently. Showing off too early can be a double-edged sword. It gives you false satisfaction, making you stop trying. The most valuable things often grow silently, quietly, and persistently, like seeds buried deep in the ground. The lesson is, let the results speak for you. The world doesn't need you to promise, they need you to do. Mature people know when to be silent and when to act. Silence is the armor that protects passion from outside doubt and destruction. Don't let words steal your actions. Don't let other people's eyes distract you. Just do it quietly, and one day, the results will make the whole world listen. And you don't need to say anything more.